Hey.
Oh, hey,
So-
what's up?
What are you doing?
I'm just reading. What's up with you?
I mean, you know the challenge ends as of right now. You didn't finish?
I mean, what is finishing?
I mean, 30 minutes.
I mean, you want to delay the podcast recording and get this done?
No. No, Avery, it's time. You got to read after. You need to be punished for this.
You do the podcast. I'll just finish reading real quick.
Okay. At least finish those last few lines there.
I am on this bike.
Welcome to Let's Try That. I am Sarah.
I'm Avery.
And we are here to talk about our last challenge, which was?
Reading for 30 minutes a day.
What did Avery not do just now?
Read today. Because I forgot that the challenge ends when we record the next episode.
Yep.
I don't know if we've ever actually said that. I think this is the first time we're actually establishing that.
No, I said that, the cash out challenge. Remember when I paid for my gas after
Cash
the
out challenge. That's awesome. That's totally what it's going to be called. So yeah, we did a challenge to read 30 minutes every day, and I technically failed because I have not read for 30 minutes today.
Avery, how did this challenge go for you?
I think it was pretty good. It was definitely easier than I thought it was going to be to find 30 minutes a day to read. Especially so on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was out of town. And technically, I didn't read on Friday because I woke up, went to work, went directly to Alamosa for a little weekend trip, and then started hanging out with my friends. So I technically did not read on Friday, but I read for an hour on Saturday. So
still not the challenge, though.
Well, is it though?
It is, though.
I could have just read for 4 hours one day and been fine.
No, it's not how this works. It's not how any of this works.
But yeah, on Saturday and Sunday, I woke up earlier than everybody else. For some reason, I woke up at 7:30 a.m. both days. I was just like, oh, well, I guess I'll do my reading. So yeah, it's really chill. And then the rest of the days, I've been reading in the evening right when I get home from work, pretty much, or one of the days I rode my bike and then read after that. So
Do you find it easier to read in the morning or in the evening?
I mean, if I don't have anything to go do immediately in the morning, it's definitely easier to read in the morning. But getting up that extra 30 minutes early to read is just not something I'm going to do. If I'm honest with myself, you know what I mean? I've tried to do that before and it just doesn't work. I end up just hitting snooze for that 30 minutes, you know what I mean? So but yeah, I don't know. I think it's about the same either way for me as far as comprehending and stuff like that.
That's true.
How'd it go for you?
So this was actually a good challenge for me. I liked this challenge.
Yeah?
I found out, I thought I would like A Brave New World, which is the book I decided to read. And I was 4 chapters in. I was thinking, well, this is going to get better. And then by the end of the 4th chapter, I was like, I just can't read this book anymore. I found out that I just don't like this book. And I thought I would because I liked 1984 by George Orwell. But this book, I don't know, it goes more in depth of test tube babies and the functionality of the human society. And it just...
I'm just over here asleep.
Kind of crazy. Yeah, if you're into all of that, science and neurology and all that.
But it's fiction, right?
Yeah, it's fiction.
Okay.
It's sci-fi. But, yeah, it was just too much for me. The first 4 chapters. If that was the first chapter or 2, maybe. But 4 chapters in, they're still talking about the same thing, about different levels in this, warehouse of where they store these different... ova and sperm and...
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm just that got too much for me. And so I decided to go into the tethered soul, the untethered soul, which is actually
tethered soul. So a little bit more of a depressing story.
Yeah, the tethered soul. Poor thing.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's the untethered soul. And basically that's just a psychology book enlightening who you are and developing who you are and your personality. And that one, much better. Much different.
Yeah,
it was a
way
lot
different.
different.
So my book is about a guy that rode his bike with another guy, turns out. I didn't know that before. From Oregon to Patagonia, which is like 10,000 miles. And to the point I'm at right now, they're in the middle of the Mexican desert. And it's just like really interesting to hear the stories from like their experience and stuff like that, and his attitudes changing like day by day as they're riding. And it's like, I don't know, I got it mostly because it was like, man, cycling, that's really cool. And he cycled for like a year straight. But it's actually like a lot more spiritual and like just like a really interesting perspective of traveling, because like who does that? Who travels by bike? You know what I mean? So it's I really like it so far. It's a good book.
So he travels from Oregon to Patagonia, but like how far in the book is he in his travels? Like when he's talking about it.
Let me see. Right now, that one doesn't say how many miles to go. I think they have like 7,000 miles to go where I'm at in the book right now.
How is he feeling about this journey?
So his buddies bought like a really cheap bike, and he bought like a really nice bike. And buddy, I can't remember his name. Weston? Something like that. Anyway, his front tire broke, so they had to walk like a long way, and he was like super pissed off and stuff like that. But then they ended up getting invited to stay at this dude's house in Mexico, and like helped this kid with his English assignment and stuff like that. It was like really cool experience because of that bad experience, and it's just like that kind of stuff is really cool because it's just like, and he talks about it like, if this tire wouldn't have broken, we would have just ridden through this town and not experienced like what it's like to live in this town and talk to this guy until late at night and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool story of an adventure that this dude took because he just felt like he needed to do something. He like met this guy that did that trip and was just like, man, I'm going to do that trip.
I just love the energy that kind of brings. Is that
yeah,
it's just like, I'm gonna go on an adventure and I'm gonna do it this way, and then nobody's gonna question it. I'm just gonna do it.
I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah,
and I'm telling myself I'm gonna do it, and like I'm telling he I guess he like followed his journey on Instagram. He would like Instagram as they went and stuff like that. So it's just like I told the world I'm doing this, so I'm doing it. So yeah, I'm not trying to ride 10,000 miles anytime soon, but
not ready for that.
And
stage
what's
4
crazy is that I knew nothing about this guy before I started reading the book. He's not a cyclist. He didn't train for this at all. He just started riding. He had never like used the clip-in shoes or anything. Like literally, they flew to Oregon because they lived in New York, I think. They flew to Oregon and like stayed with their friends for a couple days, and then when they were about to start, it was like the first time he'd ever used the clip-in pedals. So he like rode around the parking lot and stuff to like get used to the pedals that he bought.
Wow.
And then they left. Like
wow.
Yeah, neither one of them are like avid cyclists at all. But now they are. Like at this point, they're hundreds of miles in. Like they've ridden from Oregon all the way into Mexico. So
yeah,
it's that's the craziest part to me is just like he wasn't a cyclist at all. He picked a day and it was like 18 months away, and he didn't train, prepare anything. Like the only thing he did was like look at blog posts and stuff about cycling in the different areas to like see what the hazards were and stuff like that. It's a really cool book though. I definitely recommend it to anybody that's like, I don't know, it's just like a different type of like self-discovery kind of book. It's not just so like in your face of just like do these things and like life will be better. It's just like a more like, here's my journey of like trying to find myself.
From The Untethered Soul, from the few chapters I read, the 2 or 3 in this book, I really liked how it started. So the introduction to this book, it has a quote, and I'll just read that quote. It's from William Shakespeare, and it says, "This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man." So that's how it opens. So it makes you think in order of yourself. And then it just goes into Shakespearean plays like Hamlet, Julius Caesar, and just kind of like the meaning behind those.
Huh.
And then on the front cover, it has a quote. It says, "Read this book carefully and you will get more of a glimpse of eternity," which I thought was kind of captivating.
So I just realized that we don't have a challenge for this week.
We don't have a
We
challenge
didn't
for this week.
decide.
Well, let's decide now. What we're going to do is we are going to say yes for 7 days.
We're doing the Yes Man challenge.
Yes,
I
man.
guess. That's
This
yes.
is-
That's a yes.
This is yes.
I
We're
guess.
doing it. Yes.
Sure.
For sure.
Oh man.
This is scary.
What if there's something like completely ridiculous? Like you want to become a stripper? Or like who knows? You know what I mean? Just like you get 3 cop-outs.
And
You get 3
we have
mulligans.
to talk about the different questions we've been asked, though. Because
Oh, definitely.
it'll make you really think about
Yeah.
what you truly say yes and what you truly say no
And
to.
like, is it worth saying no? Like, you only get 3 no's. Is it worth saying no to this thing that have just been
Yeah.
asked of you?
Or maybe you realize, hey, you've been saying no a lot, and you really have this true potential to grow if you say yes more. So, I don't know. It could be a positive spin. Like, this doesn't have to be negative.
Yes is very positive.
Yes is yes.
Yes.
Ugh.
I'm scared though.
I'm terrified, but at the same time, I think about my
I think
daily
it'll be
week,
fine.
and I've never been asked anything out of the ordinary except for, hey, you
Neither
want
have I.
to shave an eyebrow or get a tattoo? Those are the 2 things, and those were both from him. What if it like conflicts with something? Like if someone wants to make plans for you and they ask you, hey, can you do this February 9th, and you're doing something that day, and then they ask you, well, you could have a cop out then, I guess, but
I don't know if you'd necessarily have to use a cop out in that situation though. You still have to like do the thing, but if you already have a commitment, you already have a commitment. So
well, then you have to say no. But
No,
we
you
can't
don't.
say no. But are we putting that rule that we can't mess with each other? We have to make this clear on the podcast.
How could you mess with me? That's what I need to determine before I can give you an answer.
Oh, I can mess with him real bad.
I just want you to get a stinking tattoo.
I'm going to say no. We can't mess with each other.
You
But-
have 3 cop outs.
Yeah, but I can't use all 3 of them on you.
I'm not gonna do 3 different things.
You say that now.
Really, only one.
Here are the rules. Again, clear it up for Avery. We cannot ask each other questions.
We can
To
ask
man-
each other
No.
questions.
No, yes or no questions to manipulate each other's. Well, see, that's what I thought we were like targeting. And then we could use our cop out. See, that's where I feel like the manipulation comes in.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, so we are going to be saying yes to yes or no questions for 7 days. We get 3 cop outs. We can't target each other and be mean. We're not telling anybody that we're doing this. So it's going to be natural, just whatever we're asked. Sure.
We'll see how it goes. All right, thanks, guys.
Let's try that.
That was so bad. You want to redo that one?
No, I like it.